Hey everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we're going to be doing a theory video on Wreckless Driver, which is going to be a little difficult since we literally have no information for it other than the airing date, which is why this video is a little bit later than usual today, because I was just basically waiting around to see if they'd release a trailer or just a synopsis, even just an image to be honest. But at the moment, anyway, as of me recording this, there is absolutely nothing out right now. We literally just have the title in English and in French, so let's see what we can come up with based on just that, because I also don't know what chronological order this episode is going to be in either, so I can't be like, oh, it's after this one, so therefore this thing could be happening like I did back in season 5. So I'm not really sure what it could be flowing on from. Anyway, so Wreckless Driver, or Psycho-Conductrice. Conductrice is French for driver, if you didn't know, but the ending of this word is feminine. So conducteur is the masculine, conductrice is the feminine version of this word. So it does point to the Akuma villain, the person being akumatized in this episode, as being female. And obviously the first word in the English title is a play on the word reckless, which when you spell it correctly it begins with an R, but here they've spelt it W-R, Rex as in car wrecks, so perhaps the Akuma has something to do with car wrecks. Although I'm a bit like, okay, it does seem like it's hinting at that, don't get me wrong, but this is a kids show. I'm not sure how they're gonna maybe show that if that's where they're going with it. And teamed with that too, the psycho part of the French title kind of suggests some sort of mental power, some sort of mental manipulation, so maybe the Akuma villain is able to psychologically make people lose control. The obvious thought here is that the person being akumatized is a driver, as in driving a car or a bus perhaps, but driver could also mean someone driving your thoughts, someone deciding the direction, and they focus on you making reckless decisions, a lot like in Risk. However, if we're going with literal driving for this episode, perhaps one of the kids has started driving lessons. I was having a search around, and apparently you can begin driving lessons in France at age 15, doing the, please excuse my pronunciation, Apprentissage Anticipé de la Conduite, or the AAC, and the kids will be turning 15 this year. As we know, Adrian had his 14th birthday in the Bubbler, Marinette and Bavana, and so on and so forth, so perhaps one of the kids starts having driving lessons, something happens to annoy or upset the teacher, and they get akumatized. And if that's the case, if it is a driving instructor, I would assume the Akuma victim is therefore a brand new character instead of one already in the show, unless one of the kids' parents is teaching them, but I'm not sure if that's like a thing that happens in France or not. But if we're going less literal and it's not about driving, it's about someone wanting control, trying to drive your thoughts, then the Akuma victim could be someone who feels like they lack control. So who could be akumatized in this episode then? Going down the less literal route, I think actually it could be Agley who is akumatized. Assuming Agley really isn't Lila in disguise, she could get akumatized due to her anxiety, and to me I feel like Agley would see herself as lacking control, like you saw how she was like in Clemata Queen. So perhaps she's akumatized as a driver to drive and control people's decisions as a projection of her fears. But even if she is Lila, we know you can akumatize yourself as a butterfly holder. We've seen Gaby Baby do it. Although, if that really is the case, I feel like it might be a bit too soon for Agley to be revealed as Lila. And while we don't know much about her, I think perhaps if we go with a more literal driver route, another Akuma victim candidate for this episode, in my opinion, could be Giselle, who is Miss Boustier's, I'm not sure if she's her partner or her wife, I don't know if they're married, but Giselle we saw her for the first time at the end of season 5, towards the end in Collusion. And we do know that Giselle drives a motorcycle, which I know, yes, is a tenuous link to driving, okay, but I am working with like almost nothing here. I'm working with like 4 words, that's all I have. And I would assume with Miss Bustier now being the mayor, and they also have baby Harmony, there's going to be a lot of extra pressure on Giselle being a brand new parent. I don't know if she has other children, but this is definitely her first child with Miss Bustier by the sounds of things. And also as well, I feel like she is suddenly, I mean, I don't know what her actual job is, but it seems like she's possibly suddenly in this forward-facing, very public position as, being the wife/partner of the mayor, which is going to add a lot of extra pressure on Giselle to act a certain way in public so it doesn't reflect badly on Miss Bustier, and she wants to take back control. Or maybe she also gives some of the kids driving lessons and they drive her insane. Like, can you imagine giving driving lessons to Kim? Absolutely not. So obviously Giselle and Agley are both females, so that fits in with the conductrice. We know it's something feminine, I think. Honestly, the masculine and feminine words confuse me. Like, what if you have a female cat? But cat, it's not in, so I don't know, I'm still confused by it. But anyway, If that doesn't matter then another possible option I have for this is Tatsu. So Tatsu is Tomoe and Kagami's self-driving car. I'm assuming it is a product of Tsurugi Industries. They have been in episodes before, but they do seem like fairly robotic. They're not like, to me, Markov levels of sentient. They just do what they're told. They don't really seem to have much of a personality outside of that, unlike Markov. But I don't know, maybe Tomoe's installed some sort of ChatGPT on it between seasons, and now Tatsu has more of an opinion on things and does get akumatized. I don't know, Markov could get akumatized more than once, so, you know, I don't think it'd be out the realms of, you know, craziness for a self-driving car to also get akumatized. But anyway, besties, I'd love to know what you think of this, based off almost nothing, and I will see you in the next one.